What's really going on here? Because the guardedness of these women, I understand you have brands, I understand you have reputations, and all that is fine, but I just they were both sitting there, and I'll say it before, with their spray tans, they looked like hot dogs in a bun. Like they were just kind of like there. And I was like, you're like in a reunion, like take the bun off, like look around, walk around, like come on, right,
Oh my
talk to each other. You're on the couch. Why are we talking to like this? It's no.
the Hey you.
Hey, you. How are
How's it
you?
going? I'm good. How are you on this beautiful, beautiful Saturday afternoon?
No,
Loving this weather.
well, it's just fun to start my weekend off with you. I know I have
Oh,
a fun little, there's two other couples. We do a rotation dinner every other month. We come up with a theme. We have food and we have drink. And it's something called Hygge tonight, but it's not spelled like that. So literally, I'm dressing up as David from Schitt's Creek. So I'll be all comfy with
okay.
martini slippers tonight. So I'm sure it'll be fun, but you're going to
Okay.
something
I'm
tonight
not
too.
mad at that. No, 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 not tonight. I actually just got an invitation from one of my sorority sisters for the audience. That soror means a sorority sister. And she's having a 007 Bond theme birthday party, and there's a Bond girl contest. So I'm all in. I already know what I'm wearing. I already know what I'm wearing. Whether I'm in the contest or not. I mean, give me a theme party where I get to dress up. I'm all in. Like, say no more. 0022 on the assignment. I got you. I got you, Felicia. So I'm super
Felicia.
excited about that. Yeah. So much to talk about. We are going to be just diving into the Salt Lake City reunion part 2. Honey, oh my gosh. In the history of watching Housewives reunions, have never seen a more explosive episode as I did last week. Just
Even walked off. I
Floor, I
even
think, is
walked
still
out of the
exhausted.
room when it was happening because of all of the chaos. It was giving me a headache. I was like, ladies, slow down. Just
Yeah.
slow down, but it didn't
Yeah.
happen.
You know, I was having a conversation with someone yesterday about Salt Lake City and why it works. And I don't know if you feel me on this, but when you think about that reunion and just how everybody was seated, just keep that in mind, right? None of these women really like each other as a collective. They don't like each other. They don't. You
We're
know,
trying to look for a good edit
there's
here. Hey.
and good editing means I've got to be honest. I've got to be honest. Okay, so there's clicks, right? I mean, there's like little clicks with it. So you have Meredith and Lisa. They're an alliance, okay,
We
and
are.
they solidified that alliance in the dressing room, talking about making sure that they support each other. Whitney and Heather are obviously an alliance. Mary and Bronwyn, who they actually keep in touch. Mary Bronwyn and Angie are actually kind of this kind of alliance. And throw Whitney in there too, as well. Poor little Brittany. She is like on Unicorn Island somewhere. No one is checking for Brittany. And I got to be honest with you, I feel for someone that is getting piled on, but I can honestly see why. She's literally like little girl lost. I just,
Yeah, I think she
she
gets
gets
in
in her
her
own
own
way.
way.
Yeah.
But that does not
Yeah.
excuse the allegations against her. As much as she was beaten up, it's like someone who's like in a fight with like pads and a mask. You're all for like beating on them because it's kind of funny and they're not going to get hurt. But I feel like that accusation about her being anti-Semitic, I think that was pads off, gloves off. I mean, it's a dangerous accusation to make about someone without having a full conversation. I'm not a big fan of that in the
Yeah.
day and age that we are right now, where people, when you throw out something like that, it can ruin lives. It can cause a lot of problems. We need to be careful with our words.
Right. And there was 3 key moments that stood out for me. I really actually watched it twice, and I need to go watch it again just for clarity. But you have the prop flop, You have Andy's walk off. You have the truth according to Mary. The truth
I loved
according
it.
to Mary. I should actually name it. Should actually name it the reckoning of Mary. It was like Mary had been sitting on this ever since she for several seasons, and she just let it all out. And then you have the anti-Semitic accusations that Meredith kind of espoused towards Brittany. And where do we begin?
Mary, with her eyes and her facial expressions, she has a way of saying things really quick, having a bunch of meaning in very few words. And she does so without reacting the way that the other ladies do. And I think that's her strength in the group.
There are so many things about Mary in this episode that I mean in this reunion that I just love. It really should be a master class on how to deliver reads with composure, especially when you're standing in your authenticity. And yes, she was showing up just like your cup says. What does it say? My last nerve.
No, this candle, my last nerve. Oh, look, it's on fire. I think she probably lit some of this before she went on stage, because I'll tell you, Lisa was on her last nerve, and I'm going to carry this with me this week because I have a feeling like I'm going to need it. I mean, I might need to send you one too.
But it really was a master class in how to navigate conflict and how to respond to conflict and accusations and how to read with composure. I mean, even from the way that she was postured on the couch, she went from sitting back as a composed housewife to leaning in very forward. I don't think I've ever seen a housewife lean in on a couch like that, just kind of which shows a deep level of engagement. It was kind of beautiful to watch.
Well, when you lean in and you make eye contact like this, right? If you watch Lisa Barlow during the reunion, it was to the side. So Mary's coming in kind of like your angle right now, leaning in, and she's answering questions. And Meredith
Yeah.
is kind of like the wall. But you mean to tell me you couldn't have just done this and had enough respect to look over and make eye contact when someone's talking to you about things? I thought that was very strange when someone is going, finish the conversation. Let's continue to have the conversation. And you're not looking. What's the reason behind that? Either you're like hiding something or your face is going to give it away. I don't know what it was, but not making eye contact with Mary really got to me because I was like, that doesn't
Well,
look so good. It doesn't look good.
not making eye contact with Mary means that I don't have to make eye contact with the truth. And Mary was
Whoa.
delivering all kinds of truth. And so here's the thing. There's three things that really stood out for me. First of all, the update that she gave about Robert Jr. was so authentic. It was so heartfelt. I mean, I felt her in this moment and empathize. What if that was me as a mom talking about my son is in jail? And what does that feel like for her night after night, knowing that her son is in jail? I can't even imagine that. I mean, and she navigated that conversation with poise and with heartfelt authenticity. And then to transition and then talk about, this docuseries, the church scrutiny, she never broke composure. She never broke composure. She addressed those accusations. And I was really shocked to learn that there are a community of people behind her who are like not really supportive of this documentary, who are like pretty much leave her alone. That was kind of new to me. I had not heard that.
Because anybody can make up a story. We're in the day and age now where anybody can pretty much make up anything. And there you go. And
Right.
for part of being a real housewife, what I'm gathering from it is you're kind of putting your life out on display. She is. I mean, look, there's a documentary about her being a leader of a cult. She's talking about, I mean, think about this for a minute too. With her son, how difficult this must be as a parent too, right? You can be entrenched in your faith. You can be the most involved parent, but the choices sometimes that your kids make, you're not in control over. And how many times do we have to go, if your kids make a mistake, so quickly do we go, well, what are the parents up to? I mean, that's a fair question to ask. I agree. But if your parents are involved and they're there and your child is going through something or they're doing something without your knowledge, at what point do we kind of and I think even for Mary, she was saying, you know, the consequences are going to probably what saves him. It's going to be much larger than maybe what I can do for him.
What's interesting about Mary is that she's not just a housewife. She really navigates multiple roles. There's almost a trilogy of her, so we have Mary the housewife, we have Mary the church leader, and who we were introduced to early on when Salt Lake City first premiered. We have Mary the mom, and I'm so happy that we got to see her in an authentic space being a mother this season and last season. I mean, we never seen that kind of depth and real world emotion from her. But then now we have been introduced to Mary, the possible cult leader. And so when you think about those 4 roles that she occupies, and we think about a lot of the criticism that she received early on in her journey as a housewife for being awkward, and I don't know why she's on the show and all of these things, I imagine navigating all of those roles and trying to show up authentically with cameras on you against the backdrop of these possible accusations. It's kind of hard to be, the Mary that we're now seeing. The other thing is this group means something to her. This is probably the first cohort of women that she's been around that she could probably truly call friends, which is really hard to have. Take away cult part. If you're a first lady, it's really hard to have authentic friendships, probably in a real way. And so when she shows up like this, and why we're seeing this new Mary is because it means when Andy put a fire up under her butt and says, you gotta do something different. She didn't want to let this friendship group mean something to her. And which is why, even though she's been awkward seasons before, the fact that she has been awkward probably gave her time enough to observe and to assess things. And you can tell she's been collecting receipts, timelines, receipts, all of that. And she just let it all out on the couch about how she really felt about Lisa Barlow. Even took time to remind Whitney, like, oh, yeah, you called my church that. Yeah, remember you said that about me? Like,
And
she had
did.
all the receipts and was giving lessons on how to read. It was fabulous.
And sometimes you gotta hold those things under your hat. But if you all also notice, as they were going through things, and they've done this in past reunions, when they talk about being mothers, they all have a role. And one of the things that bonds the most, if you said, give me one word to describe, many of those women would probably say first, mother, right? That would probably be one of their top things. And I was thinking about this. Maybe that's the one reason. I mean, I'm sure there's more than one, but they don't get along with Brittany so well, including Mary, because the relationships that they all have with their kids is far different than what we got edit-wise from Brittany, from her own kids, going, you're putting your marriage and this person in front of me, where I think if you took all the other kids from all the other housewives, and they seem to have a much closer relationship. And I wonder if that role right there, the one thing that kind of connects all of them being motherhood, and then going, you're coming in. Like, I was thinking about that too. And I think that's why even Mary has a little bit of an issue.
I never, ever thought about that. And the other part is that now we're getting into other territory that you're bringing up a really good point as it relates to Brittany, compared to all the women on there, like them, love them, hate them, whatever, they all have a backbone. They all have, and they stand in their truth. Lisa Barlow stands in her lies so much, it becomes truth. The truth of her lies, like she stands there, face tan, in her, not blinking. I'm going to stand in this truth called a lie, no matter what. And Brittany doesn't have a backbone, and you're right. They probably don't respect her because she did admittedly, and I know she's trying to course correct that, and I applaud her for that, but she admittedly did put men before her children, and that probably isn't voting too well. And you don't have a backbone with the guy, this Jared guy, so there's no respect. Yeah, because I believe that you can not like somebody, but you can also respect them. But they don't like her, nor do they respect her. And it's pretty obvious.
But that does, like the very beginning, we talked about it, but that does not excuse throwing out that accusation. That to me was absolutely 100% unacceptable. I think what happened with Brittany and with Meredith, I think Meredith was looking for something. She was looking for something to maybe take the heat off of her because Andy said to them, like, what's your relationship now? And it's like, it's not, it's gone. There's nothing. I almost felt like, so you were just going on camera to apologize? It was absolutely unacceptable.
Brittany is to Salt Lake what Sutton is to Beverly Hills. She is trying to fit in with the cool girls. And, she's definitely pretty enough and all of those things, but she's just not landing. The only difference between her and Sutton is that I don't think that she's wildly insecure. She's just insecure in this friend group. She doesn't know, like, she has no allies. She's literally on Unicorn Island with thoughts of Jared running through her head. And it has
With
to
the
be
unicorn.
pretty awful to be in that with the unicorn to be in that setting and have no allies. And I think she is many things, but I would have a hard time accepting that she purposely supported anti-Semitism by writing this positive review for. I mean, I think you can write a positive review for a nail salon and not realize that they're not be supporting
Yes.
anti-Semitism. I don't think those two things have to be true. It was kind of a weird accusation. And Meredith, that really was her biggest moment in the reunion. It was really a defining moment in this episode. And Meredith really strongly pushed back against other cast members' versions of that airplane incident. You have an entire cast who's saying this happened. You have Mary, who might be many things, but is a very good historian, pulled her aside. This really happened, but this really happened, and I think you need help. And she is pushing so hard against this. It's kind of odd. There's definitely something going on with Meredith. I don't want to even infer what I think it is. I have my thoughts. I don't feel that this is the place to discuss it, but there's definitely something off about it. And I hope she works that out because there's this lack of accountability, this defensiveness. I don't know if she's tired of being on the show. Maybe she wants to go DJ instead, but there's something off about her. And she is just not present the way she used to be in prior seasons. And the amount of pushback that she gives to her co-stars and not taking accountability, it's a little.
And even the conversation that she had with Lisa during the break in the green room where they actually brought it up, like, you got to be prepared for this. We've got to like stick together. I mean, they were already having those conversations, having the side conversations, as they have in the past. And to me, look, you don't like someone, you had too much to drink. We've all been there. Okay, I get it 100%. But trying to fit this narrative that I am holier than thou, I do not make any mistakes. I choose and use my words wisely. No one is perfect. We all make mistakes. And to me, it almost seems like Meredith doesn't want to make a mistake on camera, or she doesn't want anybody to think that she makes mistakes, because even her apologies don't even come across as authentic anymore. It's very stoic. And to me, what was a little bothersome, I saw Meredith and I saw Lisa, and when Mary goes, you guys are good friends after she called you a whore and you slept with all of New York. And Annie Cohen was even like, I'm just saying as a viewer, that was like for you guys to get past it. So the funny part is you're okay with Lisa saying that stuff about you, but you're going to get mad at Brittany and terrorize her allegedly, right? Because we got to use the word alleged here because we weren't there. But and to make accusations about the nail salon and everything else. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, the same grace that you want people to give you, you need to give others. And I don't know where that's lost.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's just reserved solely for Brittany, because I don't know if she would ever, when you go against someone, if you'd ever combat that with someone like Mary. So it's funny how
Yeah.
in that group, they're okay with talking to one person one way and another person another way. I don't see it that the ambush would happen the same way that it would. And maybe that's what makes really good for TV. And maybe that's what makes good, characters for all of them. And that's fine. But
Yeah.
I just want to go back to this. It is so dangerous to make those accusations and to watch Brittany walk off. We'll see what happens in episode 3. But it really did break my heart because it's like, what was the whole point in doing that? You cannot make that accusation.
I really felt bad for Brittany. She, in this moment, I believe, did all the right things to try to be accountable, insisting that she didn't understand the context, apologizing for what may have been appeared to be a support for anti-Semitism. And she had no narrative control in that moment. Her entire narrative was being controlled by Meredith. And I will say that it was really great to see Heather and some of the ladies support her and say, no, but you really did do this on the plane, by the way. They really did try to stand up for her. And so I was really happy to see that. I think just with Meredith, I was hoping for more vulnerability. We saw the finale end with her really emotional after the play that they had, the Greek tragedy play that they had, crying and talking about how she uses her words and she's afraid. And I would have loved to have seen that on this stage, but it wasn't going to happen. There's something that she's defending that nobody knows what it is. And it's going to be interesting to see what that is. What has she been defending this entire time?
No, I'm not denying that something happened on the plane. So it's this half truth. And so something did happen.
Yeah.
So you know that you behaved in a way that it's almost like, to me, it was a 4, but it was very cold. It was very stoic. And Lisa Barlow, the way that they kind of tag teamed and even the stoic response, the way that she was sitting there almost like a hot dog in a bun, right? Just like this, like the whole time.
Can I just say it's so odd because for the last, I think, couple of seasons before, they were at odds. Lisa was dragging Meredith season after season after season. And now all of a sudden, now that they're friends because they need this alliance because they know that they're both in the wrong. I feel super bad for Brittany.
I said allegedly.
Right. But she's just not fluent in reunion warfare. And I hope she's going to be okay. To see her walk off like that kind of made my heart really super sad. She's literally out there on an island in her pretty yellow dress.
So what I didn't understand was, and maybe you can help me with this. Remember the scroll that, oh gosh, who had the scroll? Was it Angie?
It
was Angie.
With Angie.
Yes, the very beginning. Angie had the scroll, and then it shows Lisa. And then that was the whole thing why Annie wind up walking off stage at the very beginning. So her number pops up. She's like, that's not me. That's not me. And Annie's like, isn't this your number? Isn't this your number? Yes, but that's not how it works. And I'm like, is that how it works? So I just don't know. She's really good at making it there have been some people in the past where I have literally read something word for word. And then the person is so good at convincing me that that's not what I read. And I almost feel like that's what Lisa is right now. So I'm like, how you're really good at this stuff.
I feel like Lisa is not. She has a very poor relationship with reality and the truth. Her truth is every bit. Her truth, or actually, I don't want to say it. She has a poor reality with the truth.
And you know what? When her husband, they showed clips about her husband, and I think what's coming up in reunion episode 3, when you look back at some of the things that John has said to her, they don't seem to be on the same page, which they've been together so long that kind of breaks my heart. So I'm just kind of going, is he seeing it too? What's really going on here? Because the guardedness of these women, I understand you have brands, I understand you have reputations, and all that is fine. But they were both sitting there, and I'll say it before, with their spray tans, they looked like hot dogs in a bun. They were just kind of there. And I was like, You're in a reunion, take the bun off, look around, walk around, come on. right? Like talk to each other. You're on the couch. Why are we talking to like this? It's no,
You know, the
right? It's
purpose of the reunion
yes.
is to have reconciliation. There's no reconciliation in sight at all. And there can't be reconciliation in sight when your entire presence on that show is going back and forth, defending and deflecting, defending and deflecting, defending and deflecting. And
Gaslighting.
nowhere, you know what they need? Yeah. Yeah. And gaslighting and scapegoating poor Brittany, for example, back to Meredith, I hate to go back to her, as being causative of whatever you're defending and deflecting about. It just was so gross. It was really gross to watch those two. I hate to say it, but I
just hope there's a
it was
with
exhausting
third,
watching
with
the
the
defense.
third. Oh yeah. And I just hope with the third reunion episode coming up that we kind of get to some finality about maybe hints as to why they're all saying, because look, did it make for really good TV? Yes. But when you text me and said, OMG, I'm exhausted. And I was like, I felt the same way because part of me is like, this is going to be good. I want popcorn. But it was so intense that I was like, okay, like when you think of things being intense, you think of Mary, very poised, very poignant, right? You got Heather, who's like really going at it like this, like using the gestures, like, hey, 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 yes. And then you get the two like this, okay? And then you get like Brittany crying, and you get, oh God, Bronwyn, just her legs crossed, very much just like, well, I'm out of this one this week, this episode. And it was very like, but thank
Bronwyn was
goodness you're going
preparing
to
for
be so
warfare
mad.
for the next one.
I bet. But thank goodness for Mary in that episode, because Mary's ability, and I know I said it before, but her
To be a
ability
mediator.
to talk and not yell and be poised, I mean, composed with, no, answer the question. Answer the question. Wait a minute, you're okay with this, but you're not okay with her calling you a whore. But I'm like, whoa, I was just like,
No, you know my favorite part? I know we're kind of my favorite part with Mary was when Lisa just crashed out and she's like, I'm so tired of MFing that. And Mary's just leaning over like,
she's like, please don't use the name.
Don't use God's name in vain. Don't use God's name in vain.
He's like, I'm sorry.
She goes, it's not right. Mary was reunion gold. I stand by that. But you know who else was reunion gold? I got to give it to Angie Castanedas. Okay, now, as a character on the show, you call it a prop flop. I call it prop brilliance. First of all, my question is, where did you go to get a scroll? You didn't go to Staples. It had to be Etsy. Like, where did you get that? That was absolutely brilliant.
Wasn't it a gift?
It was a gift.
Yeah, she got that gift. I don't know, it was from Lisa or from Mary. Someone gave her that gift. That was a gift. And she put it out there to use against her. That was the brilliance of that whole thing. She
was really positioned herself as the antagonist on this reunion. And yet, I believe Angie does take accountability for her stuff, which is why when she does deliver the shade, it's palatable, because on the other end of that, if she's wrong, she's wrong. She's going to admit it, I believe. And honestly, I've got to say, Lisa and Angie going back and forth is kind of like comedy to me. I like watching them go back and forth. But then it got to the point where everybody was going back and forth. And everybody was talking over each other. And then at one point, Heather and Bronwyn are having a side conversation. Whitney and Mary just watching it all like, okay, this is interesting. I mean, that Andy had no choice but to walk off. And I'm just saying, I have to empathize with Andy.
Within like 5 minutes. They're like, I'm sorry, Andy. I'm sorry. He comes back waving his note
Daddy
card.
Andy. Daddy Andy.
And then he comes back.
Can you imagine? All right.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, let's give it up to Andy, what the composure it takes to sit there and to mediate a reunion with these women. he shows his mettle with Salt Lake, and he showed it also with New York, who are
Yeah.
equally explosive, and they kind of talk over each other and go back and forth. But I think this is the worst that I've ever seen it. You
Well,
could
because
just
it was
see him
within
just
the
kind of
first
losing
90
it.
seconds, Elle. Like, he was like, okay,
Right,
okay, okay.
right.
And he's like, hey, 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 hey. And it was like, in education, it's kind of like you're blowing the whistle or you're hitting the bell and the kids aren't listening. And you're like, I'm out, like that. And I mean, he had a way of just going, yeah, this isn't okay. We're going to have to figure something else out. And for him to do that, I mean, I think part of him was like, this is going to be brilliant. Those women have the ability to bring out the best in each other and the worst in each other. And when it comes down to a reunion and you know, you have all of these things under your hat, right? That you're going to use. And it's just trying to figure out when you're going to use those pieces of information. And it makes for really good TV. It really does. You've just got to use it. And I'm telling you, Mary, I don't think I've ever seen anyone do it as
Flawless.
if you ever want to hold an argument with someone, if you ever want to hold your ground with someone, go back and watch the pieces with her because it was
That's
Real
all I'm watching.
Housewives
That's
gold.
all I'm watching. No, that's literally all I'm watching. I just forward that just to get to her, and I think another person who I can't wait to hear from next reunion, the last one, is Bronwyn. What I like about Bronwyn, she's so honest. I mean, and I've heard her in other interviews talk about how, as well as in her confessionals, the desire to be liked and to fit in. And I have to wonder, and maybe this is another conversation, but what goes on in Utah that inspires that need to want to fit in? I want to know more about that. But she maintains her composure very well. She's composed when she gives reads. She doesn't yell. She's a really good listener. And I think she's extremely strategic in terms of when she chooses to deliver a read and when she chooses not to. And she does take accountability. You got to listen to this one interview that I heard of her. She really talks about her journey on the show and how she just how she discovered, how she kind of fought her way in that space. And okay, there's some people on here who are my friends for TV, and there's some of my people who are my friends, on TV and in real life. Oh, gee. And there's someone here that was my friend in real life way before the show ever entered into my chat. And now I've just discovered that I've been scapegoated for a storyline, and she's really not my friend. And she talks very openly and honestly about that, huh?
But Utah is a different place. When we think of Utah, we think of a particular faith. We go, it's Mormonism, right? That's what we think of. We think that's almost where everybody's mind goes because the church controls so many different areas of that state in terms of finances and you name it, and laws. There are laws in Utah that aren't the same in any other part of the country. So when you build this community in this capacity and you don't feel that you fit in or you step out of it, kind of like Bronwyn or someone else, but if you don't fit in, if you somehow you get divorced, think about this from a woman's standpoint, right? Getting divorced, right? You get divorced there, or even with my husband, he'll tell you, he's like, we've lost friends. And when you decide to leave the faith or and so forth, you think these people are going to be friends with you, but then you realize what's holding you together is this one core belief. And the core belief is probably your faith. It's detrimental. And I think that's why there's the haves versus the have-nots with Utah, and probably why a lot of these women, the ones that are part of the faith or the ones that aren't, don't feel that they're fitting in. It's because of the hold that religion has on that state.
It's interesting that we're talking about Bronwyn because, drum roll please, she is our next housewife of interest in our case studies that we're going to be doing in February. So I'm excited to know more about Bronwyn's trajectory and also to learn more, authentically about the Mormon Church over and beyond the mom talk of it all and, and the sensationalized versions that we're getting now on reality TV. And that's what makes Salt Lake City so provocative because these ladies are anything but the Utah norm, huh?
but they talk about it. All the girls, even Heather Gay in her memoir talks, Bad Mormon, right? She talks about it. When you listen to people and the sense of control and you listen to their narratives, especially that group of women, they're they're fighting for things, but a lot of them are on the outskirts of it or still trying to fit in. You go back and forth and it's like it's it's um
Yeah.
it's mind-boggling. And it's
Mind
fascinating, which is
boggling.
why I think it works, because I would love to get a rental hair there and just live there for a summer and see how it goes.
Okay, well, holler back when you get back.
Well, you know
I'll see
this.
you when
I
you get
host
back.
Miss Utah USA. So, I mean, I'm there. I mean, I helped to crown their beauty queen. So, I mean, I love Utah. It's different parts. Like Salt Lake City is really cool, but you get on the outskirts and, they probably aren't even allowed to watch Real Housewives of Salt Lake City there. So, you know,
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about LA. No, you just do what you want. Nobody cares.
it's different in here.
I just wish we drove better. That reunion was exhausting. It was literally like running a 440 relay and then getting on a ride on Magic Mountain and riding it forwards and backwards like 2, 3 different times. And then you're tired and you're like, let's do it again. I gotta watch it again.
It's fun. And you know what? My appreciation is you and I, we have very different views on a lot of things, but when we both I, what I loved was we both were like this, and I almost think we should be doing this for the show.
I,
I think we need to make this like the, like the screenshot for episode 2. So, because it's
episode 3.
important,
Oh yeah,
right?
episode 2. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, it's important that I love the cast. I really do. It's still, I thank my husband every day for going, you want to understand the other side to Salt Lake City better, watch this show. And believe me, I understand it. And I toast to them
Yeah.
because it's a beautiful city, beautiful people, and lots of drama. And I like that.
Let me just end on this note. I have hope for them because sometimes for reconciliation and true authenticity in friendships to really heal, or at least respect, because they may not ever be friends in the friend sense of the word, but for that to happen, sometimes you have to go so far left and just just get ugly with it and talk about it and get ugly like the way they were on this reunion. And I feel like when you go so low, because they're going real low, there's nowhere else to go but up. I'm hoping that they recover from this as a cast. It's going to be interesting to see what their next season is going to be like after this.
Well,
What is, and then we will, maybe we'll get some inkling. Yeah, they weren't listening to Michelle. They were clearly going as low as possible.
If they go low, we go.
But you know what? With all due respect to Michelle Obama, and I love her, sometimes when they go low, you've got to go really low with them, and then you can rise up back together. Then that's what I'm hoping. Sometimes you got to get low. I mean, Lil Jon wrote a song about it, get low. Sometimes you got to get low.
Oh, I think I heard a different version.
All right. Lord have mercy. And with that, thanks for joining us. Tune in next week where we capture Reunion Part 3. It's going to be interesting because this is where Bronwyn lets it all out, and I
think
can't
there's gonna
wait
be
to
stuff
hear
about Lisa too.
more stuff about Lisa. Oh God, I can't take any more stuff about Lisa.
I think there's gonna be some more information about her and John coming out. That's what I think is gonna happen too.
Well, I really do wish her and John the best. I would hate
Me
for
too.
anybody's marriage in relation to the show and their participation on the Housewives franchise to be at risk. It's really kind of sad. I would hope that their participation and their status as a housewife did not disrupt their marriage, but you can kind of see how it can, and we'll get into that next time. But anyways, all right, I gotta go.
Me too. I gotta get ready.
I know you gotta go to your hookah party. Oh boy, I don't know what that is. Anyways, I can't wait to hear about that. I can't wait to hear about that. All right. Well, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at TGE_the_good_edit.
Don't spell it right.
Don't spell it.
TGE_the_good_edit. Yes.
Yes, and on YouTube, the Good Edit 25. And please be sure to like, follow, and subscribe and tell your friends. Thanks so much.